Please note that police chases can be dangerous and unpredictable. We do not condone reckless driving or any other illegal activity. Our videos are intended for educational and entertainment purposes only.
As police are following this car here, this is a pursuit, Leslie, we understand, but right now officers are kind of holding back a little bit, right?
Yeah, we have heard that there is an LAPD airship overhead following this SUV here that we believe is a Suburban. You could see the windows pretty blacked out there. We know they're riding on the 105 East, headed towards the Long Beach Boulevard area, going about 90 miles an hour. You can see them just passing cars as they go. We've seen them drive on the shoulder there. You'll see them get pretty close, just try to maneuver themselves away from other vehicles. It looks like they're getting off here on Long Beach Boulevard, if I'm correct.
Yeah, let's see what's going to happen here. This car going at really high rates of speed. On the freeway, we saw speeds of 80 to 90 miles an hour and even higher. Now getting off here, off the freeway, you can see here he's hitting heavier traffic. So let's see what's going to happen here, Leslie. Right now, with officers not necessarily behind him, he may think he may be getting the getaway here, the slip, but obviously the light turned green here. He's made a right-hand turn. Long Beach Boulevard and Louise Street at 7:33 tonight. And as we're seeing, there's quite a bit of traffic there tonight.
And you can see he's being pretty aggressive about getting through this traffic here, just maneuvering through vehicles, trying to get past all of them. Again, we're trying to work on figuring out what the want is for this. We know that it's very hard to see in that vehicle. Don't know if it's just one driver or multiple people inside. Many times we have seen multiple people will come out in situations like pursuits. But again, officers, they are standing back quite a bit, trying to give this person distance. But we do know that an LAPD airship is still overhead following this vehicle. So you're talking about thinking they may be getting away, but that is not the case. These airships will follow these vehicles until a pursuit is either called off or, of course, it comes to a termination.
And you can see, Leslie, how close he's getting to some of those cars, riding the bumper of the car just in front of him. And a lot of these drivers basically have no idea what's going on here, that this car is being followed, even from the air, by police. And as you said, we're still trying to figure out the want. He's okay. I think we have retired
Police Sergeant Patrick O'Malley here on the phone with us. Sergeant O'Malley, thank you so much for joining us tonight. We're watching this vehicle try to make its way through the streets of Lynwood right now, through Carlin Avenue, Alpine Avenue. Are you hearing anything about the possible want from just your sources?
Good evening, Juan and Leslie. No, I have not actually.
They're stopping here.
Sorry to cut you off there, Sergeant O'Malley, but it looks like that suspect is running right towards some homes here, dressed in a black, pretty large sweatshirt. And you can see them making their way through this backyard. You wonder,
jumping right there.
Yeah, hopping that wall.
Jumped right into some cactus, and it looks like he
went jumping into that home.
Yep. He just jumped into a window, and he wasn't alone, Leslie. Before we pulled away from that car, I saw at least one other person coming out from, the police are there, and it looks like a woman who may have come out from that apartment. She's now on the sidewalk there with officers. So let's see what's going to happen here.
It looks like officers are telling someone else to kind of stand back. They have one person at least on the ground there to the left by the vehicle. But as Juan, you had mentioned, we did see a suspect jump through a window into this home here. So you wonder, do they know where they're going? Do they know that home? Is that their home? Many times we see these suspects actually just revert back to going to their houses to see if they can hide out there.
Sergeant, if you're watching this unfold with us, what's your first take on what you're seeing here?
Yeah, this one looks pretty clear, like he knew where he was going, where he wanted to get to. He threw a little distraction in there by going into the next house and then trying to hop the wall, and try to slide in that window or that door or whatever that was. But you could tell by the time the camera came back around, there was already people that were outside, almost like they were waiting for him also. So, and it's possible that even LAPD or Long Beach PD knew that where the vehicle might have even come back to, because they were on the scene real quick and had the perimeter set almost instantly.
Yeah, you're right. So there's a good chance that they do know who this car is registered to, where they might be going. And they were very specific once they started coming down these more narrow streets, which of course we always get very nervous when we see that. When we see a high-speed pursuit going through neighborhoods, there's children out enjoying the afternoon, families out enjoying the afternoon, and they're just plowing through, just trying to get away. We see the suspect here, one of the guys that were inside the car, lifting up his jacket, his Dodgers jacket there, obviously trying to show officers he is not armed, and so far this guy is complying.
Yeah.
We're still waiting to see what's going to happen to the one who made a slip up and over the wall, came back, landed on some cactus, it looked like, Leslie, and then, like Spider-Man, just jumped through that bathroom window or whatever it was. I can't believe how quickly he got away.
Yeah, you could see the screen of that window kind of, if we pan over here, I'll wait there. You see the screen there that has fallen off, or maybe he pulled it off. I never really saw him pull it off, but it almost looked like he knew that this window was going to be a way to access this home here in the Lynwood area. So again, we believe that suspect may still be inside, but as you saw, police are taking what I believe might be the passenger into custody. We saw that person, I think, stand back, hop out of the passenger side and stay back, and they were quickly told by police to get on the ground. And that is where now he remains. And
what's interesting, we're still waiting to hear what the want is, why police wanted this driver to pull over. You're looking here at officers with the LAPD there, just trained on this one person that they're looking to get into custody very soon, maybe even getting information from him as to the other person they're looking for. And so far, we haven't seen anybody being taken into custody that may be inside this house. I wonder if they're being held up inside the house. Officers here are not necessarily pointing their attention to the front of this home here, or this apartment building, whatever it is. So where is that driver? Yeah, where did that person go? It looked like there were a few people probably from inside that home, or again, it may be an apartment complex here that came out through the front door. They were pointing inside as well. So you wonder, did they know them? Did they not know this person? But at this point, it looks like police have a lot of their attention on this guy this person here, maybe because they're waiting just to safely get them into custody. Sergeant, what do you think is going to happen here next? I thought the big concern would be the guy that jumped into that window, but right now it looks like they're just focusing on him. What happens next?
Well, they have two things going on. You have to remember that the first suspect is now in that house, and you can see all the windows that are on that house. So they have to maintain their cover right now, because they don't really know what that guy is up to. You know, he could have gone back to his own house. He could have guns in the house. He could have, ulterior motives that aren't good. So they just, time is on their hands. They just take their cover. They have him proned out. They have a good eye on the vehicle, and you can just see all of the other officers that are now have their eye on the house. And they're not going to go anywhere. They can just maintain this. They probably have a helicopter up above, maintain a nice, tight perimeter. And then if they have to, they're going to try to get information from the people that were outside. If this is this person's house, anybody else in the house, could he have taken any hostages? And then, if they have to write a search warrant and call in SWAT teams and things like that, they'll do that later on. But for now, it's all about safety of the officers and the safety of the people that are inside the house.
Yeah, Sergeant, you make a great point there. And when you said that, I was looking not far from where that suspect on the street is laying face down. You can see the windows of that house there. So even officers moving in right now, there are those windows right now. John, in our SkyCal, is showing us. Hard to tell if he's on the other side of those windows, maybe armed. With officers' safety very important here, that is perhaps why we're not seeing them rush this guy who's on the street. They feel he's contained, he's safe, he's at least not armed as far as they can tell. So I guess the next step is trying to locate this driver, right?
Yeah, and that's exactly it. Right now, they really aren't worried about locating him. They have the place surrounded. They know the window that he went into. And so they're just going to, work on this one step at a time in nice, safe manner. Get more officers there, and then they'll worry about the guy inside after this.
Yeah, and well, we didn't see police right behind him. The patrol cars are right behind him. It looks like they're allowing at least one person to go inside that home. You got to wonder what's happening here, if they think it's so secure that they are allowing someone back in. Even if it's an apartment, it feels like they would have stopped people from entering that building.
Yeah, they're getting some resistance from people, and it looks like the first guy may know who this person is, and sometimes family members don't want to deal with this either, and it almost looked like he was told them, you know what, I'm just going to go inside and I'm going to get him, and I'm going to have him come outside so that they can get their house back. They don't want anything else to happen to anybody. So we'll see what happens, but it almost looked like that was what he was trying to say.
Yeah, and that's another sign, right, Sergeant, that when family or people who live there, they're a bit resistant, that's a pretty good sign that they know this person and that they're just trying to get their bearings and see what's next and how to best handle this.
Yeah, it's just a lot going on.
Yeah.
I'm sure they're calling more officers, but when you have family and friends and everybody else, then you have people that are showing up. It just causes more problems and more things for the officers that they have to keep their eyes on and listen to and watch and everything else. So the guy came back outside now, so we'll see. He seems like he's trying to accomplish something.
Yeah.
He doesn't seem like he's trying to harm the officers or make it harder for them, but we'll see how this plays out in the next couple of minutes.
Yeah, and if you're watching this with us, Sergeant, you could see they finally have asked this suspect here to get up off the ground and walk towards them. It looks like they will finally be trying to get him into cuffs here because they feel like now is the right moment.
Yeah, and as the family or crowd gets a little bit more aggravated, they want to start completing some of the steps that are going on, and this is one of them. They can get this guy into custody, they can clear the vehicle and secure the vehicle, and then they can just focus all of their attention on the house and the suspect that's inside, along with the crowd that's gathering. So.
Yeah, and we're seeing that happen right now. They're now handcuffing that passenger who was inside that SUV that led the LAPD on a pursuit on the westbound 105 freeway, getting off here in the Lakewood area, right,
I
Leslie?
believe it's a Lynwood area, that we're in right now, yeah.
Okay.
Sergeant O'Malley, you see these situations, they're so tense already. You have the police trying to get these pursuit suspects into custody. Of course, they don't know if there's anything in that vehicle, and now they have someone inside what looks to be like this home here. Just describe to me that situation when you also have a crowd starting to build around you.
Well, and the biggest thing is we don't know what the crime class is right now. We had the one the other night where they had done a shooting. What's really common these days is when they're doing these smash and grabs or these robberies, and then they have these undercover teams, because I know there was I think a plain LAPD unit that originally was following this vehicle. So I don't know what the original crime was, but that has a lot to do with the tension and the stress that the officers are feeling, because if it was somebody that was armed or that did a shooting or that did an armed robbery, then now they have somebody that's inside the house that has all the advantages of all the windows, that's armed. So that has a lot to do with it. I would think within a short period of time they would start to move some of these people that are standing around away from the front of the house also, because they're in danger as well if there was some type of crossfire situation. But it just really depends on what that original crime was. But these officers already know all that information, and by the way they're acting, I would say that it was probably a felony, and they're probably going to treat this like a felony suspect.
And based on where they're also positioned there, Sergeant, not necessarily directly in front of the house or in front of those windows, it's kind of right there on the corner. It gives them a better vantage point, right, of the two sides of this home.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it seems like the front door might be over where the guy was standing that seemed like he was trying to help them.
Yeah, in the black T-shirt.
Yeah, because he went inside and then he came back out, and then when the suspect's vehicle pulled up, that was where everybody was standing outside, almost like they were waiting for him to pull up. So I think a lot of their attention is on that door area, and also on this side of the apartment complex. And as you can see, then they got officers on the other side, and then people in the air. So.
Yeah, it looks like they're now putting up this yellow tape.
Yeah.
They're securing their scene, pushing, as you had mentioned, pushing back all those people away from the front door of this home. But it does look like some of these officers on the left-hand side here, the bottom of your screen, they're more focused on the window, is what I'm seeing.
Yeah.
It looks like they're not as focused as the front door as they are maybe on the side windows here.
Yeah, and we know that that the suspect went in closest to that far window right there.
Right.
So it just seems like the only place, the front door that the guy was going in, is the main door to this residence. So they'll be watching. They just have all the sides covered, and then if that is family and they can get a phone number or a phone number to the house or something else, they're going to start trying to communicate with the person and just try to get them to come out. But it just looked like the brother or the family member already went in and tried to get the guy to come out, and so far he has not come out. So we'll see how it plays out.
And Sergeant, has this pursuit officially become a standoff situation? I mean, even though we don't know where that driver is right now, we assume he's inside the house, and family members have been coming in and out, trying to talk to him. As Leslie was saying, they've put down that yellow police tape right there to kind of secure the area. Is this a standoff at this point, or have we not made it there yet?
Well, now they moved into that next phase that I was talking about. They got the passenger in custody. They have the vehicle, secured. Now they're starting to clear the people out, and then they're going to get on the PA systems for the police cars, and they're going to start to call him out. They probably already know his name.
Right.
They're going to tell them they have the place surrounded. They're going to make calls like they're going to send in a police dog or other things and try to convince him to give up, and then just end this all peacefully, and everybody can leave. So there's just different steps that they take. They allow everybody to kind of decompress a little bit, lower the stress levels, and then just work it one step at a time.
Yeah, and Sergeant O'Malley, we are starting to get some information from our news desk per LAPD that the want was possibly for a DUI driver, and somehow police learning that this person may be possibly armed. That is that information we're getting from our news desk here. Of course, police believe this person is possibly armed. You have to wonder, did they get that information from the other suspect, or how do they know that? We're not sure. We know many of these times these situations are just dangerous. Police don't know what these people have on them, but you have to wonder, how did they acquire that information? Was it a previous call? We don't know that information just yet. Looks like the crowd is getting a bit agitated with officers here.
Yeah, something's going on there. We see a lot more hand gesture, hand motion. We see a woman there with her hand up in the air as well. Perhaps they're trying to reach out to the person inside or reach out to officers. And again, a different stance here too. That passenger now in custody. Officers are, basically talking to the people there. Their attention not necessarily focused on those windows. So perhaps they are getting some resolution coming up very soon. It looks like this woman this guy in the black T-shirt was talking to, it looks like she's on the phone. So maybe she's on the phone with the driver.
And you don't know. We're not sure. This may not be a home. It may be. They may not even know the people. They may just be frustrated that this is happening, near their home or in the same building, and they now cannot get back in. But many times we do see some of these suspects go back to their homes and try to talk to family for the last time, because they know that because this has become a pursuit, they will probably be going away for a bit of a time.
And what's interesting, when you look at this house, it has a brick wall around it. It's got what looks like secured gates right there. On a nice night like tonight, you would have no problem leaving your windows open to enjoy some of those cooler temperatures. It still looks breezy out there as well. You just never know when somebody's going to come up and over that brick wall, and how quickly this driver was able to slip into that window was kind of amazing to see.
Yeah. Sergeant, if you're still with us, I find it quite fascinating that a lot of times these suspects go back home. When you finish up an arrest on one of these pursuits, and maybe you're talking to these suspects, interrogating them, do they ever say anything about why go back home?
Well, a lot of them have a lot of experience, in running from the police, committing crimes, other things. So they've tried different things where they run into just random areas and try to hide, and they end up getting caught. You know, like this guy was pretty slick. He, you know, if the helicopter wasn't up above and the police see him run into, you know, a backyard and he's able to get in that window, you know, pretty fast, he could have been in the wind and they wouldn't even know where he was. But, you know, they had enough eyes from the sky to know exactly where he went. It allowed them to set up the perimeter. But as you've seen in a lot of these pursuits, they just tend to go back to their stomping grounds, their hoods, their family homes, and things like that, friends, and just try to get that one little jump on the police to be able to hide, and then the police can't find them. But, you know, more often than not, they figure out who they are and they'll issue a warrant and get them at another time, or they'll have an incident like this where they know exactly where he went. That's just a matter of time before they take him into custody.
And that does happen a lot, right, Sergeant? A lot of times we're covering a pursuit and suddenly we hear that, you know, officers lost the guy, or he's on a motorcycle, he was able to get away. But if you do have a good license plate number, if you're able to ID the person one way or the other, eventually, you know, they will find you.
Yep, for sure. You know, it's easy to outrun a person, but it's hard to outrun a radio. So, you know, when all these guys have radios and they have a jump on people, they can catch them. But a lot of it really depends on the crime. You know, it's LA County a lot of times that we're dealing with. A lot of crimes aren't filed on anymore. So it's not worth it for the police to put their time and effort and into wasting a lot of time and to take somebody into custody if the crime, you know, isn't that much, and it probably won't even be filed on anymore. So this one, you know, DUI, no crash, no injuries type of thing. You know, something like this, they probably would just tow the car and leave. But obviously there's more to this. They know he had a gun somehow. So now you elevate that. If he's a prior felon that has a gun, you know, now you're dealing with even more felonies. And maybe he flashed the gun at somebody, pointed at somebody, however it plays out. You know, that's why it appears in this case they want to take him into custody and get him off to jail.
Yeah, and Sergeant O'Malley, we're not sure if these two buildings here, homes, are connected in any way, but I did see someone come out of the back door of the white portion of that home or building there. You saw someone come out of the back door. So it looks like people may still be in these buildings. Police haven't necessarily evacuated them. Although, again, I don't know if they're connected in any way.
It could be a duplex or a triplex or something there where several families are living there. Sergeant, if someone's helping the driver at this point, whether it be a family member or not, could they also see some charges if they are somehow, you know, stalling the arrest?
Yes, for sure. It just depends on, you know, what level. But really in this incident, from my experience, what I saw, it just seems like he knew where he was going. This is family. The family knew he was coming there. You know, maybe the family didn't know how he was going to, maybe they thought he was just going to pull up and give up, and they, you know, he wanted them to witness it, but it didn't play out that way. And then as they were all arguing by the police car, you know, it just looks like the lady might be the mom, and she's trying to call him on the cell phone, and they're arguing back and forth, and you know, they clearly want this to end, it appears, but they just can't get him to come out or can't get in contact with him now.
And who knows if he even has a phone with him.
Yeah. We couldn't tell if he was carrying anything. We could just tell as he jumped over that brick wall there, made his way, hopped inside that window. But like you described it, Juan, like Spider-Man, he literally just jumped in that window and he was gone so quickly. But you could see there's another person here standing in front of this white home. It looked for like a second like they had their arms up. Not sure if police are speaking to them or not. But you're right, Juan, this looks to be like a duplex.
Multifamily.
Yeah, multifamily building, a duplex of some sort that has multiple apartments or units in these two buildings here.
Yeah, we see the mailbox just outside of that door. You see there on the first floor. You see the stairs that lead up to a second landing there and two more doors. So yeah, this does look like it's a multifamily unit here. They're not having any of these people actually pull away, but it looks like these maybe 4 apartments were added to this house maybe years ago, and it's now one of these multifamily unit dwellings that we see here. So my guess is that driver is somewhere in that first unit you see there at the very bottom, basically the first floor of that front unit.
Yeah, and if you're just tuning in here, we are pretty much watching what seems to be a standoff situation now. A pursuit suspect, as you can see here, got out of a vehicle that police were pursuing down the 105, went into the Lynwood area, and we'll catch up with him right here where you see him jump over this wall. You see it here, and then it looks like he just hops right into a window.
Yep.
He knows that window is open for him, and he just jumps right in. And that is the last time we heard of that suspect, or we saw that suspect, I should say. And you see the pants he was wearing also slipped off there.
And I wonder if he dropped something, because it looked like next to those garbage bags, there was something that might have looked like a backpack if he dropped that. We don't know, because officers have not had a chance to go back there. But that happening just a few moments ago at the end of a pursuit where the suspect foot bails and jumps into a home here in the Lynwood area. Right here. The pursuit was going on for quite a bit on the 105 freeway, which is a DUI driver, possibly armed driver. You can see the police response there. Pretty significant. For a while, this was under a tracking situation where basically officers are watching from the air and just keeping a distance away because of high speeds. We saw them going at rather high speeds down narrow streets as well, which of course makes this all very, very dangerous. And as Sergeant O'Malley was telling us, by now they probably know who this person is that they need to come out. They've already brought the other person who was with him in the car. He's in custody right now. So it's just a waiting game here. Is this sort of as a standoff, waiting for this suspect to surface? And
the want for this was a possible DUI.
Right.
Oh, it looks like that might be the suspect that they were looking for that was inside that home. At some point came out.
He was wearing black pants.
He was wearing black shorts there. It looks like police have told him to get down on the ground. He is complying, and we will wait to see what the next move is here. At some point, this person came out of the home. We weren't able to see it as we were in the back, but it looks like this person has gotten down. Again, we don't know if it's the suspect, but they were wearing shorts. Yeah,
and look, they're approaching him right now. Sergeant, we see this very often when police are chasing somebody. They either lose an article of clothing, they take off a hoodie to reveal a white T-shirt, or maybe a tank top underneath that T-shirt. Is that to sort of maybe confuse eyewitnesses?
Yes, exactly, and try to throw the officers off as well. You know, he can get inside, he can change his whole outfit. But this one is playing out exactly as, you know, we all had talked about already. It just appeared that this was his house. The family was frustrated. They were trying to get him outside. They probably made some calls on the PA system, and with the pressure of the police outside, knowing it was surrounded, and the pressure from what we were seeing from the family, he ended up walking out and giving up, and we have a good end to the pursuit. He's in custody, and nobody was injured.
That is some good news. And if you're just joining us, this is KCAL News at 8 o'clock here on a Sunday night. I'm Juan Fernandez, along with Leslie Marin. We've been following this end of a pursuit here that ended in the Lynwood area, and it looks like, Leslie, now this pursuit that started here with this SUV right here. Are those bullet holes in the back?
It looks like... Yes, it looks like bullet holes or some type of, they shot something into this car. I'm not sure if this was the case prior. I do not know that, but this is the first time we're actually seeing the back of the vehicle here.
Sergeant, does that look to you, if the video is caught up to where you are, like maybe less than lethal or something where they might throw pepper spray or something into the car? I mean, I don't think so, because they both stopped the car and they jumped out, so... Maybe they did fire their guns at some point, if that's a bullet hole.
I can't tell if that's tape around the window or plastic also. So, I mean, this kind of, you know, might explain what the part of this was about, too. This could have happened, you know, they could have fired a gun out of that thing, and that might be what got this, you know, this whole pursuit started. So, I don't know. I can't really tell from the video, but it almost looks like it's tape and plastic on there already, that the window was broken, and then something got fired through it. But the way this played out, they wouldn't. I can't see them firing any kind of gas into that because there was nobody inside the car.
And no time to do it either, yeah.
Right. See, and then they walked up and cleared the vehicle. So, yeah, it'd be interesting to hear what the backstory is on that.
And we just saw them peel off what looked like, you know, the tempered glass from the back of the SUV. That came off real easy. And I think you're right, Sergeant. It might have been held together with some tape on the back of the window there.
Yeah,
but looking at the officers now, it does look like we've made it to a code 4 here. 2 suspects in custody following a pursuit that didn't last very long, but the standoff sure brought a lot of tensions to this area here in Lynwood.
Of course, once we get more information, we will bring it to you. But for now, this pursuit, code 4.
All right, Sergeant O'Malley. Thanks.